back when nothing truly mattered and we hadn't had a clue. We fell in to play the game, nothing would ever be the same. There were times when there was laughter, there were times when there was joy, but they took it all away for the pleasure in our pain. Welcome to
And welcome everyone to Nerd TV for another RSR Next Generation Cup Series race. This time, coming at you live from the foggy, cloudy Dover Motor Speedway, which Rockefeller to my side here is, he wishes he had this weather over there on this Sunday, but either way, this is what we get tonight. 72 in the skies, 54% humidity, overcast all day it looks like, and then 10-mile-an-hour winds. Shouldn't be a factor here tonight. It might, maybe not. Who knows? It's a cool track though, so should be ton to grip out there this evening for these guys for this Tuesday Night Cup Series. My name, Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty, and then Sunburnt Jason Rockefeller. 2 days removed from being over here at Dover. How you doing tonight?
I'm feeling raw, man. It hurts. It definitely hurts not wearing sunscreen. I didn't think it was going to be so sunny. I thought there was at least going to be a little bit of cloud cover on Sunday, but man, if you all folks can see me, I look like I just got out of Dale Earnhardt's Chevy Lumina in the 90s with the bubble goggles on, and instead my sunburn is all the rubber, and right here it's like I didn't get anything because I was wearing sunglasses. So that's kind of how I look. I look like a bubble goggle wearing raccoon Dale Earnhardt is what I look like. So I'm ready to go, though. Dover was really fun on Sunday. Had a great time calling the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series with Brody Hanna yesterday over on LSR TV, where Richie Coy won the race. So he's got some experience, obviously. Looks like he's third in qualifying right now, Jeremy. But this is a really tough track. We saw some great racing in yesterday's Cup race, and then obviously on Sunday with the real Cup guys. So this should be a really fun one here tonight.
Yeah, and last week we saw a first non-stealth motorsports winner out there, Kevin Zabadil in the 17, getting the job done with no sponsor on the car. He's looking to carry that momentum here into Dover here this evening. Point situation, got to keep check on that. Ryan Bean, Nathan Campbell, separated by just 1 point. 1 point between those two. They've been duking out all season long, and don't expect anything different here at the 1 mile Dover Motor Speedway. And just under 2 minutes left in this qualifying session. Nolan Potter in the 34 has it. Brandon Gagnon, strong qualifying effort here. Second place. Bob Fitzpatrick third. Richie now fourth. Alexander Hodge in fifth. So some newer names in the top three here for the qualifying session. We're on board this number 28, Ryan Bean. New colors for him. He's rocking HendrickCars.com for some reason. I want that Lockheed Martin skin back, but we'll take it.
Yeah, and obviously Ryan Bean was last year's winner here at Dover, but don't count out Nolan Potter tonight. He's got that fastest lap of the session. You look at him last year here. He finished 7th when he started 8th, so he's definitely a sleeper. Obviously, you take that year of time from last year's Dover race to now, he's a better driver than what he was, so he's obviously learned more, but so is everybody else. You know, Zach Schrenthal, he finished 2nd last year, led 42 laps. Ryan Bean, obviously, like I mentioned, he dominated that race, pretty much led 87 laps. But it looks like this is going to be another night, Jeremy, where Stealth Motorsports can capitalize and go 9 for 8 on the season here tonight. And if there's anybody who could do it, I think it's going to be Ryan Bean and Zach Schrenthal, and maybe even Nate Campbell as well.
9 for 8? Am I drawing a blank on your math right now?
Oh my God, I'm so dumb. I meant to say 9 for 1, I think, or 8 for 1. I don't know, dude. Listen, I'm tired, bro. The sun's hitting me.
I'm gonna go 8 for 9.
8 for 9. Whatever. Listen, you know
what?
I'm going to bed.
He's
See you
going
later.
to bed.
I'm going to bed. We're done.
I just, I had to check my math there. Sometimes, I'm caught sleeping.
Yo, bro thinks I'm lying. I'm actually laying in bed right now.
Well, there we go. Gonna call the race from bed. Nice little red and black chair there.
Yeah,
Qualifying
like
is over. Oh yeah, there it is. You're back. Welcome back, man. I'm gonna need you tonight.
It was a nice nap, man. I walked 3 feet over. I'm good.
Okay, very good, very good. Re-energized, Mr. Jason Rockefeller. We're gonna get our cameras off your screen, and then Jason can officially now go to bed. Here is we're going to put Dustin to work. Dustin Loxton, thank you for being behind the scenes there with all the buttons and the camera work and the 200-mile-an-hour drone flying abilities that you have over there. So hopefully we keep you busy. But here we go. Here's the starting lineup for the Victory Field 200 at Dover Motor Speedway. Nolan Potter, P1. Brandon Gagnon's going to start second. Kevin Zabadil finds himself P3 on that late time posted. Bob Fitzpatrick 4th. Richie Coy 5th. Ryan Bean in 6th. Alexander Hodge in 7th. 8th place goes to Zach Wilson. 9th, Andrew Little. And tonight's top 10 starting car, 23, Harold Watkins.
Top 20 tonight, starting in row number 6, you'll find Rusty Modesty, who actually had a great Dover run here just 1 year ago, alongside Brian Fine, who has had a quiet but fine start to 2024. Row number 7, Michael Carter in the number 8 machine. We've seen him have some strong runs. Beautiful number 8 machine based off Kyle Busch here tonight. John Blasity, same could be said for him. He'll be starting alongside him in row number 7. Row 8, you'll find Jeff Chandler. He won last year in the FTSR Mach 1 Cup race at Dover. Had a solid run yesterday night. We'll see what he can do alongside Kevin Ruff in the number 99. Row number 9, Justin Henry in the 85 for Haul & Ass Racing. And James Catrone for Zab Motorsports, who's always a sleeper pick at anywhere we go. And rounding out the top 20, Jeremy, row number 10, you'll find Michael Sheffield in the 1, alongside Anthony Ludi in the number 88.
21st, number 2 is Zach Strenthal to his outside. Steve Potter in the 94. 23rd belongs to Kent Mueller, and 24th will be that 13 of Jerry Culver. 25th will be Anthony Younes, and 26th place Nathan Campbell. 27th, Mark Thibodeau. 28th, Brock Potter. 29th and 30th belongs to Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. and James Fitzmaurice. And that'll round out your 30-car lineup for the Victory Field 200 at Dover Motor Speedway. Pace truck is starting to roll off grid. And Dustin, I was giving you praise on your drone flying abilities, but what is this? I don't know. He's going underground through fences. He's got some technology, Jason, I have not seen before. Literally just going through physical objects like it's nothing.
No, I mean, maybe he's got some sort of power that we just don't know about because, you know, he does live out in those cornfields. So, I mean, I guess when you're kind of separated and isolated from society a little bit and your town consists of like maybe 20 people, you learn a few things because you're not around so many people. So I don't really know. But, you know, he's doing some magical work here tonight with that drone as we go back up towards the front of the field here behind the iRacing pace truck. Jeremy, this is going to be a really interesting race tonight. Yesterday's race for Mach 1, guys, pretty much, you know, probably sunny, I want to say, for the most part, besides a cloud cover a little bit. Today, looks like this race is going to be pretty cloudy, so it should provide a lot of grip.
That must have been the room that was locked that I couldn't go into. It's that lab he has in the basement. But here we go. I'm seeing the green flag right now. Green flag is out for this 200-lapper, 200-mile event here. Nolan almost gets a clean breakaway from the 83 at Gagnon. He's going to remain on the top. It goes to the inside, the number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick, and that chrome green number 3. Love those colors. They're going to go single file quickly through the top 5, actually top 10 here as we get to our first double wide through 3 and 4. And looks going to be a very clean, easy first lap here for this race.
Yeah, you see John Blassie on the outside of Michael Carter trying to make sure he can complete the pass by the time he gets to 1. He does. Right behind them, Jeff Chandler looks to the inside of Kevin Ruff. We're all going to go single file, but here comes James Catrone. He'll look to the inside of Kevin Ruff here down the back straightaway for that 16th spot.
Early breakaway for the 34s. You see everybody else on your screen just nose to tail. Not much movement going on. Oh, we got a hook in the back there. Looks like the 13 of Jerry. Nope. Is that? Yeah, 13. Jerry Culver gets hooked on turn number 4. It's going to send us our first Boomer button box as caution flag of the evening. And we're going to get a couple action clips here from the Nerd TV replay. And what happened here, Jason?
Yeah, just comes up right there. Jerry Culver does right in front of Anthony Younes, unfortunately, coming off the corner here at Dover. It is so hard. We've seen this a ton of times throughout the past few years. I mean, one example in particular, you think back, obviously, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch years ago in 2014 when Kyle decided to basically, I think he cleared himself or Boyer cleared himself, one or the other. And unfortunately, that's what it does. Because remember, Jeremy, when you're coming off that corner, that outside lane, the wall comes at you in a hurry. But obviously, when you're trying to come up, there's always going to be a driver on your outside, whether you like it or not. So you got to be really careful to give them room because it's really easy to get unstable, put somebody in the wall, or even yourself.
Yeah, we saw it here on Sunday when we were watching the Global Racing League. That turn 4 was just that corner. Turn 2 was always clean. Barely anybody hit the wall. I think in turn 4 we had maybe 20 different stripes. I was calling it the Dover stripe. There was just so many issues. And here, continuing on lap 3, we're seeing it already. Just washes up the track. A little bit of tightness in that 13. Pushes up in the Anthony. into the outside wall. Doesn't look like too much damage, so just a little virtual crew member work to be had. Minus, well, Anthony Yoons lost a bumper late there, so a little bit more extensive work there. But yep, they're gonna get that repaired fully, I expect, and we'll get back at it.
Yeah, this should be a really interesting race just in general. I mean, obviously, heartbreaker for some of those guys to already be involved in such an early wreck, but Nolan Potter able to get out to a comfortable lead. But this is the thing about Dover. Usually you could see early cautions, but also this race is known for being a long green flag run. I went back and looked at last year's stats. Out of the 150 laps ran, now remember, tonight's event, 200 laps, so 50 laps more, obviously. Only 2 cautions last year for a total of 8 laps. 5 lead changes, 4 different leaders in the same exact weather we had with the partly cloudy skies, 78-degree Fahrenheit around there, with a little bit of humidity, no fog, and a little bit of wind. So pretty ideal conditions, similar to last year. But obviously, like I mentioned about those cautions, Jeremy, this race is known for being a green flag race.
Yep, it really can, and you can see the tire fall off and how great it affects people throughout the green flag run. Jumping over to the YouTube chats real quick here. I see Doyle saying hello, nerd crew. Welcome aboard once more, Doyle. Welcome as always. Yeah, Jeff Chandler's got a little bit of work to do. 15th through the first couple laps in this event. Thomas S saying Ryan Bean's car is greatest thing. I kind of like the Lockheed Martin scheme. I know I'm a fan of, you know, space flight and whatnot, so maybe it's a little bit of a biased opinion, but I really enjoy it. But I also enjoy blue. Blue's my favorite color, so I can't knock it one bit. Thomas Pope for Brandon. They want to win from you, Brandon, and you're looking really sporty tonight. Let's get the job done for once. And then, yeah, we got a half a lap left. We're going to go back to green flag action here, resuming on lap 7. Pace truck will dip down, wait for the Geico restart zone, and then the 34 will control the start. Jason, Nolan had a really strong first opening couple laps there. He broke out to, what, a 5 to 10 car length advantage over everybody else. That car, short run-wise, is looking really, really fast. The fastest Pop-Tart ever. Here we go. Green flag is out, and once more he's going to get a great start over everybody else.
Yeah, and he gets a great restart there up on the outside. And like last night's Mach 1 Cup race from FTSR, the outside and the inside were both pretty solid on the restarts. It just all depends on how you get up through the gears and the way that you get on the throttle here. It's very easy to spin the tires at Dover. Obviously, though, these tires are still pretty fresh here. You see Richie Coy working to the outside of Kevin Zabladil. Last week's winner at Talladega broke that Stealth Motorsports streak, which was awesome to see, and he was super aggressive. He's got those iRacing Kevin Zabladil social media colors back on the race car here tonight, and he's trying to get one done here at Dover.
He takes the sponsors off and he wins the race, and then he puts them back on afterwards. So I would have kept that nice red 17 going, but here we are back with his normal true colors. Squeezes it between him and Richie Coy there on the outside, looking into turn number 1. Back to single file here through corner exit 2. This is on lap 9 coming to lap number 10, and it looks like everyone just wants more single file, kind of playing the safety game, except for Ryan Bean. He realized how fast Nolan Potter was, and here he is on the attack trying to get to the race lead.
Yeah, you see him really slowly closing in there in that 2800cars.com machine, closing up to the back bumper of his teammate. You see a little bit more shuffling towards the back half here. Zabladil still battling with Richie Coy down to the inside of the racetrack here, trying to get the forward momentum off the corner, but Richie just so good up on that outside, and he really liked running the bottom in yesterday's Mach 1 race. Now, compared to yesterday, remember, that's an open series. This is a fixed series, so it's been really interesting to see how Richie Coy has been able to adapt to this fixed racing. Uh-oh, Jeremy, I don't mean to cut off what I was talking about, but look at the number 2. Look at the nose, man.
Yeah, I noticed it in qualifying. He had the same thing a couple weeks ago, or even last week at the latest, and Dustin's going to put all the camera angle on it. I think they're going to get it fixed. I kind of like the Camry logo right against the splitter. The text, that's kind of cool.
Oh, you're foul.
There's no template. I thought these things were sim stamped, and somehow Mr. Zach has figured out a way to remove those decals, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
It looks like a stormtrooper smiling.
I kind of like it, though.
It's like a stormtrooper, or It's like a stormtrooper smiling, or it looks like Moon Knight from Marvel. That's what it looks like. He's got a little smirk, or maybe Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know, Jeremy. You love that thing so much, man. Tell him to keep it. I don't really care. But remember, he had a great run here just 1 year ago. I'm actually very surprised that Zach didn't start up towards the front compared to what he did last year, because he is your defending pole sitter coming into tonight. Obviously did not defend that pole. I mean, he started well out back here, fast to mid-pack. So Zach Trenthal starting to make up some spots, but he's not doing it very easily, trying to get underneath John Velasquez. His modesty hits the wall off turn number 4. That's going to be a big talking point tonight as well, as drivers coming off turn 4 and brushing that wall.
I told him to fix it last week and it didn't get done, so somehow we need to get Merler to his painter and make that happen. But yeah, this is the part of the race where if you weren't saving in the first 15 laps, you're going to feel it. And if you were saving, you're going to start reeling those guys in slowly. And so you see the new race leader, Ryan Bean's got a nice little 5-7 car advantage over his teammate Nolan Potter. Richie Coy's on the heels now of the 34 through 3 and 4 here. 34 is just way too fast on the opening laps, and then now he's going to start to drop back. And then the guys who, this is one of the tracks where you're going to see guys that start in 15th through 20th. They can save their tires, and they'll be in the top 5 at the end of a long green flag run. That's just how this track works. It always has, always will be, being concrete. And that's what makes it so much fun. We saw temporary, a lot of side-by-side. That was people starting to shift in position because of the tire wear situation and saving or whatnot. And then they're going to get to a little bit more of a low point, and then I believe there's going to be a lot more of double file racing later on.
Tell you what, one thing that it's hard to do here at Dover is save that right front tire. Just ask Dustin Logston, because he watched me do C-Fix top split the other day, man. And I was leading that thing, and I lost the lead, and during the long run, I could not save that right front tire. It is so hard to do here. Don't get me wrong. Certain cars, it's easier to save that right front tire, but obviously with this car, with the grip it has and stuff like that, you feel like you can get more out of the car, but don't underestimate that wider, low-profile tire. And sure, it doesn't wear as much as the previous generation car with this newer tire model, but you still got to save that tire, and it's really hard to, especially because when you get to the corner, you want to drive it in super deep, because you get down right on that left side above the apron. There's a ton of grip down there, and you feel like you can get back to the throttle so much earlier, but you don't want to, and that's where you can get really conflicted within your mind, because you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm going fast enough. I don't know if I'm saving enough tire. It's one of those very, very big mysteries of Dover, where it's just so hard to save tire wear, you just don't know if you're doing a good enough job.
Especially if you're the leader trying to control the pace, right? Like, you could be staving and not know it. You could be driving the car off, full speed, and you just won't know the tire wear situation until you get 20-30 laps in. You can see what the competition is doing around you, then you kind of adjust and go from there. I was talking about that a little bit on this past Sunday at the Global Racing Truck Series, and the word conductor was used by Dustin, and I kind of went off on a tangent about it, just because you do control the race, and you set the pace like no other track. So you've seen Richie Coy, one of the best guys I have seen on a long run, and here he is on lap 23. They've only been green flag for 18, 17 laps with that caution there on early on. So Richie's got that mid-run locked down. Just can he hold this pace for the long run?
And the thing is, Jeremy, obviously, like I mentioned, the Mach 1 Cup race that was run yesterday night here at Dover, that was an open setup race. This is a fixed series. So I don't know if Richie just likes the fixed setup a little bit better or what, but in yesterday's race, he was really strong on the short runs. But in that middle to back half of the run, man, he was not that good. But then as the race progressed, he got better and better through the first 2 stages, took a 2-tire call with a really late race restart, got in front of Daniel Simmons, and also Nathan Bigart was able to take home the victory. But I think Richie definitely learned how to save a lot more tire yesterday night, obviously with that car and the race itself. Doing a really good job right now, but this is that part of the run where Richie seems to kind of fade away, but Ryan Bean is not really also that fast right now. Richie is still hunting him down, putting the pressure on him. He's going to roll up to the top try that little diamond effect off the corner, doesn't get down to the bottom like he probably wants to, loses about a 200th from the 28 machine, but you can see him dives it down in there, tries to hook the bottom, but just can't.
Yeah, he's got the air taken off his nose of his car, right? So he gets up to the back bumper of Ryan Bean. He tries the diamond effect. He doesn't have the downforce needed. He can't drive to the bottom, and then his car is going to push tight, has to get off the throttle, and that's going to destroy that right front that you talked about earlier. So to kind of do this, you want to maybe diamond the corner to get the air back on the nose, straighten out your corner exit so you don't have to rely on it. It might utilize a touch bit more tire wear, but it's going to definitely help compared to what he's doing now, which is running directly behind the 28 Ryan Bean.
Yeah, he's actually losing a little bit of time. He's lost about a 10th now, the last lap and a half or two. But everybody else, though, behind him is well off the pace. Nolan Potter is about a second and a half back from his teammate Ryan Bean. And then Kevin Zabadil is back from Nolan by about a little over a second and a half as well. So these leaders, the top five especially, are really spread out. How about this guy, though, right here, Zach Wilson? He's been making very few selective starts this season. We're not used to seeing him every week like we did last year. But when he comes to race, man, he really shows up. And it might not be a win, but he's consistent. Something always happens to him, though, man. Trying to have a good run here tonight at Dover in that 51 TWRS Ford Mustang Dark Horse.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good there. And Alexander Hodge currently running 9th place, down 2 from his 7th place starting spot. JK on the YouTube side has a message for you saying, Hodge, if you love me, you'll drive clockwise. I don't recommend driving clockwise. You're not going to make some fans out there. I can guarantee it 100%. You want to do the counterclockwise. It gives you a better chance to win the race. So that's just my personal advice. I don't know if Jason has something different for him.
You should do it, man. Just wreck the field. Who really cares, all right? I mean, I think it's a very good option. If you can't win them, just wreck them. I mean, that's really what you got to do at the end of the day.
The 2005 PlayStation NASCAR games, right?
Yeah, I've done my plenty fair share of that, obviously. One of my favorite games to do that on, I think, was NASCAR 15 for sure, because of how much the pack would fly apart. But yeah, I've done that a few times. Got my Dolphin emulator, NASCAR 2005. You'll go backwards occasionally when you feel mad, and you'll just wreck the whole damn field. So, because why not? But I recommend that. I agree. Go go clockwise. I think you'll really show something here.
Have you done it at Dover, though? That's the real question.
Who hasn't done it at Dover? Who hasn't done it at every track? Whoa!
3 wide. Here we go. A little bit of thing going on right now. They quickly get it back to single file there, but a little bit of a mishap there. 3 wide, and they're really spaced out. And thankfully, there's a little communication going with the drivers. There might have been some contact that kind of started that off, but thankfully, we're still green flag, 35 laps in. I'm going to take this time to shout out one of our partners here. Of course, we're going to thank the series sponsor, BestOne Tire and Service, the official presenting series sponsor for the Tuesday Night Cup Series. So if you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, BestOne Tire and Service helps you get the new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you need from the people you can trust. And check them out and find their nearest location to you by visiting bestonetire.com.
Captain Ruff right here as we're riding on board the BestOne Tire machine. He is kind of just falling back a little bit outside the top 15, would you rather. He's in 19th, trying to run down James Catrone, but you could just see how difficult it is to keep that car down on the bottom of this racetrack. And now the grooves are starting to widen out a bit, which is something you can do here at Dover. We saw it on Sunday. We saw it in yesterday's Mach 1 race on LSR TV. So those outside grooves do work, but on the long run, they will hurt you. But if you got to get around somebody, diamonding that corner like you see James Catrone doing, it can work. You're just going to cost yourself a little bit of tire. As you see right there, Justin Henry in the 85 got another wall off 4.
And I'm really surprised we have not seen that more and more. On Sunday, I counted, I think it's at least 20 times someone hit turn 4 exit. But these guys here tonight in this RSR Next Gen Cup Series presented by BestOne Tire, keeping it really clean overall. Had that one caution. Oh, you see a little bit of puff smoke there. They're hearing me talk about them basically, but they're just so much cleaner. I don't know if it's because of the cooler temps. I think we started this race 4 or 5 degrees cooler than what we did Sunday. The overcast is hanging out a little bit more. There's no fog, so that could be playing a part of it. But yeah, great job so far for almost 40 laps into this event, and not much damage to be out on any one of these cars.
Yeah, Nolan Potter's starting to reel in Richie Coy a little bit. You see Kevin Zabadil back there. Nolan's doing a really good job in this 34 machine. Really, not really. I would say, Jeremy. I mean, what would you say? Not really a big surprise as you see Richie get really wicked loose off turn number 4. But Nolan is a driver who kind of just hangs around in there. He doesn't have a win this season because when it comes to stealth, it's been dominated by Ryan Bean and Nate Campbell. And here's the thing about those two drivers as well. Ryan Bean, remember back in Kentucky when he said he lost the race because of tire conservation with that right front? Well, we asked him last week, obviously, after Talladega. We said, Ryan, how do you feel about coming into Dover next week? Because we know that's a tire-saving race with that right front. How do you feel about it? He said, you'd actually be surprised. I really like Dover. It's one of my favorite tracks, especially with the next gen. He really likes this. He knows how to save the tires a lot with those right sides, especially the right front. And you can see it's pulling off for him right now. He's got about a 2-second gap right now over Richie Coy.
Yeah, definitely showing that. HendricksCars.com Toyota Camry right now with that dominant lead late into this run. 42 laps in. I think we took the green flag at lap 7. So we're 35 laps into this run, which is probably, I would say, right at the halfway point, if not just a little bit past halfway on a tire/fuel run. It depends on how much you take care of those tires if you're going to come in for tires or fuel first. For me, it's usually a tire situation at Dover, but Ryan seems to have a good in-between system that's working for him speed-wise and keeping the tires healthy. And yeah, field's a little bit spaced out now. You're seeing some action with Brandon Gagnon there in the 83, started second. He's down 5 spots to P7 as he is right behind Zach Wilson, who's up 2.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Jeremy. When we come to pit stops, remember this league runs that 70% fuel load. So I asked Michael Sheffield before the start of the race, I said, what's that fuel run looking like? He said you're going to see somewhere around 60 to 65 laps on a fuel run. So I'm assuming we're going to start seeing pit stops here within the next 15 to 20 laps or so, maybe even lap 70 because of that early caution we had. But obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if guys start pitting right at the actually recommended window for 60 to 65 laps. So we'll find out, obviously, when green flag pit stops do come about, and that's where this race is really going to shake up.
Yeah, if you can extend it just a little bit past that point, because if you do the math, 60 times 3 is 180, which is 20 laps shy of the finish. If you go 65, you're basically there at the checker flags, and of course you already had that little caution break, so if it goes green the rest of the way, if they can extend that to maybe 67, 68, I think they're going to be just okay to make it to the end on 2 stops. But that all depends on that tire wear, though. So you keep care of those tires.
Yeah, no doubt about it there. Obviously, you see this number 23 machine of Harold Watkins starting to kind of rip around. How about his teammate right behind him, though, Nate Campbell? We just mentioned him briefly a moment ago. We're not used to seeing Nate really run back this far. This guy is always up in the top 3, if not leading and winning races. He's done a great job all season long, but started really deep in this field, and he's already up 17 spots, the highest mover of the race besides Brock Potter, his teammate, up 15, now 16th in 12, so he's only a few positions behind him. But Nate's doing a really good job. Don't underestimate Nate Campbell. He may be back here right now, but towards the end of this race, if he can have some cautions playing in his favor, get that track position from these pit stops, Nate Campbell's going to be right up there, man. He might be able to make a run for Ryan Bean like he has all season long.
Yeah, let's see. It's got a big hole right now, being that 8.8 back. And this is definitely a driver's track. It is a unique track. It's a standard oval shape, right? But just how you ramp off the corners, how tight the corner radius is, and how banked it is. Like, it's just you have to have the knack for this track, and if you don't, well, you're gonna suffer. You gotta take yourself to school, try to learn this track, and this is why you're seeing a lot of these people spaced out 50 laps in. We're a fourth of the way through. You already saw the track map a few laps ago. You saw the spaciness in between this entire field. Very natural of Dover. You see it one more time on the upper left-hand corner, and Brandon Gagnon, the 83, coming down pit road, and he missed this mark. The first driver to find pit road is going to miss entry And so he's gonna have to take the not so happy parade lap around to get back to pit road the next time by as we go VHS rewind. And we're gonna see what happened here.
Yeah, he just starts slowing down way too late into the corner. Does a great job recognizing that he's probably not going to make it down there. Remember, Jeremy, that apron is one of the slickest aprons probably on the Cup Series schedule because there's just no grip down there. That's asphalt compared to the concrete that has a little bit more grip compared to that asphalt down there where nobody runs. And it's also at an angle. It keeps on going downwards, and the banking keeps lowering and lowering until it gets pretty much completely flat from that 20 degrees of banking, whatever it may be. Here comes John Blassie. He does a great job, enters in super early just to make sure he can get down there. So here we go, Jeremy. Guys are starting to do the undercut.
Yeah, it was a really early entry there for John, giving up tons of time, but he's going to make it there safe. See Andrew Little there getting service for fresh Goodyears and a full tank of virtual fuel. And this is way shy of the window that you talked about. You said 60, 65. And we're 55 laps into the run with that 5 laps of caution we had early on. So I guess we're going to go 3 stops for sure, maybe even 4 depending on the tire wear situation as the sun is out and the clouds are starting to part ways.
Yeah, this track's going to heat up just a little bit more, a little lack of grip coming out here because of that sun peeking through the clouds up in the sky. And everybody's just running all around there. Let's take a look real quick again at that iRacing iFlag track map just to see for the first 55 laps since we went back green around lap 10 or 11. Great aerial shot here from Dustin. You can just see everybody around this racetrack scattered. You got packs and you got guys who are separated by like 5, 6 car lengths like you see on the back straightaway. But then coming out of 4, you got a big gaggle of traffic coming to the start-finish line right now, all in line. That's about 10, maybe even 12 cars heading into turn number 1. And when these green flag pit stops happen here pretty soon, Jeremy, with the window opening up soon, you're going to see them all in different various places on this racetrack.
Yeah, you really will. You're seeing a little battle right here between the 3 and the 17. Bob Fitzpatrick doing a great job here this evening, getting around Kevin Zabados to maintain 4th position. Here's the 51. Wilson. A little group of cars right here battling on the middle way of the back straightaway. The number 1, Michael Sheffield, under Jerry Culver entering turn 3 here. And the James... Oh, we got a slow car. That looks like Jeff Chandler in the 31. No caution yet, but he has no front clip. I am sorry. There's the caution. Second one presented by Boomer Button Boxes. And Doyle, Lawrence, sorry to say, but your driver is not looking too good right now. And we're going to take a look and see what happened.
Heartbreaker for the driver who won Dover 1 year ago in the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, and you can see him just slowly starting to come to a halt. That front bumper is destroyed. That had to have been a big hit for Jeff Chandler here. You see him coming down into turn number 3 right in front of Nate Campbell, and I believe he just gets on that bump right there, Jeremy, that a lot of drivers... Oh, no! He runs right up on the back of Harold Watkins and just destroys that wall. Oh, my goodness. Shades of Kaz Gralla from Saturday's practice session off turn number 4 almost. That was a hard hit to the outside wall. But watch it how much Harold Watkins just slows up. I don't know if he called his shot to pit road, if Jeff was just so focused and in the zone that he just didn't even really hear it, maybe even recognize it if he didn't say that he was going to pit road. But, man, that was a hard hit, and that's definitely going to end the 31's night.
Yeah, I can only pick up on certain voice communications. I don't know if that was said in a team channel or whatnot, but I don't know if I saw Harold Watkins call for pit stops. Either way, it took Jeff Chandler by 100% surprise, full speed rather. Boom! Just you go to the corner, and you have to mentally prepare yourself for each corner, right? So you do that. You lock yourself into what lane you want to run. And then the 23 hits the brakes in front of you to hit his pit stop, and then you have to make that split-second decision. You're not going to slow down in time. So he turned right after hitting the bumper and destroyed the 31.
Well, remember a few years ago here, Jeremy, during the COVID era in 2020, Jimmy Johnson was, I believe, was trying to get around Dover, and there was a car making a pit stop in front of him. Don't remember who it was, but Jimmy almost slammed into the back of that car and it was almost exactly what was going to be Jeff Chandler's wreck, but it was going to be so much worse. But here we go. Pit stops beginning this time.
Yep. Pit road is open. I think we're going to do a quick side-by-side commercial break, and then we'll go over the Nerd TV top 10 recap presented by Waterford Concepts LLC. We'll be right back. And back to full screen here. 1 lap to go. We're going to go over that quick top 10 recap for you, presented by Waterford Concepts LLC. Ryan Bean, P1, up 5 spots. Going to control this restart on the outside. Nolan Potter still maintaining top 2 spot here. Richie Coy in 3rd. Bob Fitzpatrick in 4th, doing a hell of a job so far. Zach Wilson up 3 into the top 5. Kevin Zabadil going to be down 3 spots from 3rd to 6th. Biggest move of the race, number 45, Nathan Campbell, from 26th to 7th. Great job from him, up 19 spots. Alexander Hodge in the 11, pretty stationary himself. James Catrone in 9th, up 9 spots. And then that last car up 18 spots there, from 28th to 10th for the number 4 machine. So a couple of big, strong movers so far through the first quarter of this race. Ryan Bean likes to take the outside. It's probably a good call on his part. Let's see what he can do here when the green flag drops. And here we go at the end of the Geico zone. The green flag flies. He gets a nice launch, about a 2-car length advantage early over his teammate here. And the 319 still remain side by side at 1.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting restart here to see what Richie Coy learned. And same thing could be said for Nolan Potter and the rest of this field from that first initial restart. What happened after about lap 10. Remember, Richie caught the 28 machine. He caught the 34. Now he's got to try to lock in. The same could be said for Nolan Potter. They need to figure out a way where they can save enough tire to stay with Ryan Bean here.
Yeah, I had race control come up just as a report from that last wreck. Soft call from the pit road from the 23. It was voiced over, but came through really quietly for whatever reason. And so just allowed some miscommunication. So I guess in a way, like a race incident type of situation. But back to the action, single file, just like we saw in the last restart. They just quickly do this for a little bit, and then they're going to go side by side after the tires start to wear in just a little bit. I see a little action. 17 Zabadil going underneath. 51 Wilson here. He's going to try to complete the pass. Really checked up by Bob Fitzpatrick on the 3. It's going to allow Zach to get a great launch on corner. Exit goes down to secure the spot, and now he's under the attack of the 3.
Yeah, you see that 51 Wilson gets right back in front of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. Zabadil side by side with Campbell, who's been slowly but surely making his way up through this field. Look at the amount of speed he has in that Super ATV parts for the 45 machine. Almost brushes the wall off turn number 4. And look at the 3, just barely cuts in front. And Zach Wilson, something happened to him right there. I don't know if he blinked out or what, but Zach Wilson is way off the pace, all the way back in 22nd. Not too sure what happened to him. Oh, he is gone. Zach Wilson, I believe, just dropped out of the session, probably due to packet loss more than likely, and that's something that can happen, unfortunately, for him. Great run going for the 51 here tonight. Looks like his night's going to come to an end.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate. I had a pretty strong showing here for the first 50-some laps at Dover, and race control is also confirming he is just gone, waiting for him to fall out of the session. He might rejoin. We'll see if he can. Of course, not for the lead or anything, but if you want to do a joyride for the rest of the race, go ahead and do so. But look at this battle here. It's pretty strong. Kevin Zabodil just all over the back bumper here of Bob Fitzpatrick. Finally going to look to the inside, and it looks like he's going to take that position from Bob. And go back single file once more, and so does everybody else behind him. So once more, we're going to run the train here until the tires start to wear in more.
Yeah, this is definitely a driver's racetrack for sure. You see the number 4 machine of Brock Potter trying to get down to the inside of James Catrone on corner exit back to turn 3. They remain side by side. Catrone nearly brushed the wall off turn number 2. Right back behind them, Brian Fine, who has been having a very quiet night just outside the top 10. Now he looks to the inside because Catrone brushed the wall off 4.
Turn 4, just be that corner, you know, where you got to watch every single time so you don't hit that outside wall. Great little side-by-side still here with Brian Fine on the inside of Catrone, running over a lap like this. Going to go through turn 4, really loose from the 57, almost hits the inside wall, trying to gather it back up. He's going to lose 3+ spots, and now he got 99 of Kevin Ruff to the outside. He's going to make the pass complete, so the 57's going to have to regroup here and get back on the attack.
Jeremy, I think that this season to start so far for Brian Fine has really not been the driver that we're used to seeing. Remember last year where Brian Fine was picking up wins, finishing up in the top 3, top 5, top 10. You look at his stats this season. Yes, he's only run 6 races, 7th one being here tonight at Dover. But Brian Fine's only got 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s to his name. This is a guy who went out last year and won a ton of races and also picked up some great points in races. It's just not been the season for him to start so far. I know he's been quiet a majority of the season, but definitely not the Brian Fine we're used to seeing here in RSR.
I have one strong reason probably why he's underperforming like you expected. I think it's because Baby Bristol came into the picture a few months back, and I think that coincides with the performance of that 57. So a little bit of less sleep on his camp, a little less practice time, and if you don't stay on it all the time, you're going to fall to these guys. It is fixed setup. You already talked about that. So it's just purely based off of track time, knowing what you need to do for 200 laps here and anywhere you go, really. So it's just a lack of track time, I think, from that 57.
And we got a report from Jeff Chandler, was able to speak to, I guess you could say, our YouTube chats in-race reporter down in the pits. That doesn't really exist, but Jeff Chandler made a comment about the racing incident that happened and said, if you can't call out your pitting because the radio is busy, wait until the next freaking lap. No excuse. So Jeff Chandler definitely unhappy with the number 23 machine here tonight, and obviously out of the race due to that hard hit to the rear of Harold Watkins and then going up into the wall. So Jeff Chandler is going to have to try again next week if he wants to get a win this season.
And what I was pretty impressed by was how, I'm going to take that back a little bit. 23 has some damage and he's 1 lap down. The car is underperforming from that hit. But I was kind of impressed on how the 23 was able to not spin out. He got slammed in the rear, and that car barely even shifted. But the rear end took all the damage there, and it's kind of put that 23 underperforming at the moment, as we're still kind of focusing on the raciest part of the track right now. 79 laps in of this 200 lap scheduled event, and this is right around 10th place, and it doesn't almost every single week, Jason, I always feel like the 10th place always produces the best racing, and here we are once more.
Yeah, for sure. And here they go down into 3 and 4 this time. Here comes Michael Carter. He'll look to the inside of Rusty Modesty, starting to slide up the track just a little bit. Got to be careful. Give that room to the driver on the outside because it's almost guaranteed off the corner that they're either going to get loose, smack that wall, or somehow, some way come down into you. And the 8 left them room. The 6 of Modesty got right past him. Michael Carter's going to have to regain himself and try to make another run at the 6.
Still running single file. You know, we're going to see this run build up more and more. I'm kind of curious, Jason, to when the next pit stops are going to happen. That caution happened, what, around lap 60? And if the guys are only doing 50 laps under green flag before they have to come down 40 or 50, it still tells me it's a 2 to 3 stop race. But it all depends on the tire wears. You got this cloud coverage. You see the blanket on the sky. It's kind of crept back over. It's a little overcasty around this mile track right now. As Dustin's going to pan that camera up a little bit for me there. You see a nice thick blanket there covering up the back straightaway into turn 3. And yeah, I mean, this is going to kind of balance out the run like they had in the first part of the race for a little bit. I don't expect this to be like this the rest of the race, but yeah, it's going to be tough to see what they can do. Curious to know if they can go 2 pit stops versus 3, and what's the better choice.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting here. Obviously, with this 70% fuel load that they run here in RSR, it kind of really shakes up what we think up here in the booth, because we're so used to most leagues, most series, and even just in officials, you know, whether it be, you know, NIS or, you know, A Open, A Fix, whatever it may be, we're so used to seeing what the fuel run looks like on 100% fuel load, so it's always kind of difficult to tell when these guys are going to pit, who's going to be able to make it. I know my napkin math, well, my iPhone calculator math isn't really the greatest. We've already seen that here these past few weeks, so Dustin. But, you know, yeah, math was rocky, so it hasn't been the best. But again, you know, this race is going to be really interesting. This race has definitely come down to strategy at some points. But again, it's going to be really difficult to beat Ryan Bean here tonight. We talked to him. He said this was a great track. He loves this place. If you're going to want to beat that 28 machine here tonight, you're either going to have A, something happen to him, or B, you're going to have to pull some other sort of strategy to get around him.
And we'll see what happens here. We're going to kick it to a second picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back here momentarily. And back real quick here after one commercial. Looks like a little bit of contact between Andrew Little and Michael Sheffield. This is corner exit turn 2. It's going to be a clean exit, no problem. But getting to turn 3, where it gets a little tricky here. Getting all the side draft you can and just gets too much of it. You're going to turn Andrew Little around almost it does 90 degrees through turn 3. Sends him into the outside retaining wall. And that's going to bring out our third caution presented by Boomer, a button box caution, or boxes here.
Yeah, that was a hard hit from Andrew Little. And that's a big deal, man, because he was the only driver who was close to, I mean, it's not really so close, but he was third in the points coming into tonight. We talked about it last week, how he's been really consistent pretty much all year long. Damn. He was back by 62, 63 points, I believe, coming into tonight. This is just going to make him hurt more and more in the points tonight.
He's had a great season so far for 2024. And yeah, this is not going to be good. Coming in third, 63 back. And if everyone else kind of finishes the way they are, this could drop him 2 to 4, maybe even 5 spots. So a lot of repairs to had on that 68. We're going to try to kick it once more to that picture-in-picture. We'll be right back before the drop of the green flag. And welcome back to full screen here. Pace truck is down. We're going to have our fourth green flag come out here on lap number 92. Kevin Zabadil in the 17 going to lead the way over to Kent Mueller. Oh, we got a stack up here. Kent forgot to press the go pedal or misshifted. And some comments saying nicely done already in the chat. And really stacked up this thing 3 wide here through turn 1. Kent Mueller dropping back like a rock. Continuing to fall spots, and that car is not in good shape right now, Jason.
I want to see if we can get a replay, because what it looked like, if you saw coming into the Geico restart zone, he was actually ahead of Kevin Zabadil, and then Zabadil all of a sudden he laid off and then just fired out of it really, really fast. And you see him starting to fade. They put him 3 wide off the corner. Zach Schrinthal just barely gets around the outside. But that's what happened, and this 26 just did not go because he was ahead of that 17. 17 laid off, then went back. Here it is. Perfect job from Dustin. Here's the Nerd TV replay. Watch this. So here we go. The 26 is already getting out ahead and just kind of just doesn't go. I mean, just a rookie mistake on Kent Mueller's part.
Yeah, that was a huge lead there over the 17. Had to back it down and just, ill-timed all the way through. And it cost him a ton of position. Oh, the 17, Kevin Zabadil on my screen. Looked like he hit the exit of turn 4. Doesn't look like much damage to the 17 here. Still racy for about 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th place. Almost 3 wide, potentially down the back straightaway. Stays 2 wide. And these guys are not letting up like the other restarts here, Jason.
Well, I think it's because you had 2 guys on the front row that stayed out right there, obviously, with Zabadil and Mueller, and it really shook everything up with that stack up. So that makes it ×2 of a more difficult restart for everybody else. And now you have Zach Schrinthal, who's moved up to 2nd. Nolan Potter, because that restart went all the way back to 4th. I know it's not a huge drop, but still, that's a big deal because Nolan's been used to running that 2nd or 3rd position all night long. And now he's got to try to get around Richie Coy. He's got to get to his teammate and others. And Ryan Bean loves what he saw out back, man, because he is gone.
Yeah, he's already got himself almost an entire 2nd separation over the number 2 Schrinthal. And Richie Coy finally gets around the number 2, so put Richie Coy 2nd place right now. Nolan Potter still holds 4th. And you got a little 5 to 7 car breakaway between him and the number 4 Brock Potter. Him and the 45 are trying to make a little bit of a charge to get further into the top 5, but right now Nathan Campbell looking really strong early on this start.
Yeah, doing really good job here for Nate Campbell in this 45 machine. Remember, started well out back, and both him and his teammate Brock Potter have made it all the way up inside the top 10, both up 21 and 22 positions, running 5th and 6th. They get around James Catrone. And now they're setting their sights on their other teammates, Nolan Potter and Zach Schrinthal. So Stealth Motorsports really showing their strength here tonight, obviously, besides Harold Watkins with the incident from Jeff Chandler earlier.
Yeah, definitely struggling for that one, and almost a little bit of contact, I think, from the fore end of the wall there. But looking through this field, Jason, they really got separated here. Until you get to about 14th or so, the top 10 are like all single file. There's nothing much going on. But right now, look at this group of cars right now. Just they really want to go 2 wide all the way through, but they're being patient with one another. Surprised Anthony Younes is able to keep up there with his modified that he's bringing out there, still maintaining the lead lap through 101 laps just at the halfway point of this event. And so I'll keep my eye on this part of the field. This is going to get good right now.
You know what? Listen, iRacing can only be so realistic here at these racetracks and just on the service in general. Look at this great battle we got going down into the corner right there. That was the 11 of Alexander Hodge and the 85 of Henry making contact all the way from all 4 all the way down to turn 1 almost. But the 54 of Anthony Younes, yes, he has no front bumper, but think about it, Jeremy. He is at an aero disadvantage, but those tires are going to cool off a lot more because of that airflow going onto the tires, so they're not going to heat up as much. Could be a little bit of an advantage for the 54. Obviously, definitely not in any shape or form race winning contender. Oh, look at the 94 there. Steve Potter nearly loses it and takes out the 11. Creates a big stack up here going into turn number 3.
Yeah, still really racy through here. I see Michelle Rittenberry on the Facebook side saying, let's go Calvin Lee Ruff. I know that message is old, But I just fired up the YouTube or the Facebook side, so wanted to shout you out. And then Dustin Sorber from Dusty Pete's on there saying misshift maybe, which after reviewing on that, it looks like it was just a combination of just a bad start of every shape and form that you can have one. The 26 is able to find it, but ooh, close call there between the 88 and the 54. Really got it close to the outside wall. Able to keep from wrecking themselves here going through turns to the 54. Unable to hold it this time. They go back single file to 3.
Yeah, single file, but you see Yun's trying to get back to the bottom of that 88 of Anthony Ludi back to turn number 4 and down the straightaway. Here comes that number, I believe that is the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. He is trying to work to the outside of Justin Hendry now exiting turn number 2. They're going to get side by side. Hendry thought about closing the door. He'll get back in line, but he'll actually pack some air on the left rear of the 3. They're going to be side by side off turn number 4. The 85 gets loose off the corner.
Justin Hendry almost lost it, able to regroup it without overcorrecting. And now the 3 is barely able to get through to to complete the pass there over the 85. And now Alexander Hodge in the 11. He's going to try to make the outside work for him as Hendry just a little tight in center. Unable to get the drive that he wanted. They still remain door to door though. Going to turn number 1, almost makes some contact. Now there is contact between the 85 and 11. And it looks like with that is going to allow Justin Hendry to make the pass.
Great racing we got back here. Look at the 11. He's going for it again. Dives it down into the corner. The 85 kind of got set up the hill there. But he's able to slam the door shut, get back by the 11 machine. Now he falls into the clutches of Kevin Ruff back to turn number 1. They're all single file. Steve Potter hanging all back before, had a nice save off the 11 machine just a couple laps ago. He's now under fire from Michael Sheffield, I believe that is. Or that's actually, I think, the 88 machine. No, it is the one of Michael Sheffield on the inside now trying to get around him.
See how much the 94 of Steve Potter diamond turn 3 and 4. He's going to try to do it again in 1 and 2. Not so extreme this time, but that run, if you can straighten up that corner exit, it works so well on a defensive pass from the inside, but unable to make it stick for him there this time around. But cycling back to the 85 and the number 3, Hendry's trying to get himself a little bit further through this field to put himself into P11 to get around Bob Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, this has just been great racing all around here throughout this back half or middle pack of the field here. You see the 11 under fire again, or rather the 3, I believe that is, under fire from that 85 of Justin Hendry off turn number 4. They still remain all single file. They're racing really hard.
Big wreck in the back. Sorry to cut you off there. The 94 is Steve Potter. No yellow flag, but this car is absolutely destroyed. You see how much that left front is disconnected. And quick VHS work here from Dustin. And here we go. Turn 4. Hits the outside wall right in front of Anthony Younes. He's already done this once. Man, look at the angle of attack on this inside wall. Bam! Just destroys the entire front.
Yeah, that's going to probably result in a DNF for the 94 machine of Steve Potter. And if it's not, he's got way too much time on the damage clock in order to come and fully repair that to get back on the racetrack. So unfortunate for him, but that's the thing we talk about with Dover here in Germany is, you know, coming off turn number 4, it's so hard to not get up into that outside wall, and you really underestimate it because of the way that concrete surface is with that little bump or hill or hump, whatever you want to call it, off turn number 4. Then an outside wall really comes at you in a hurry. So combination of both things obviously led the 94 up into the wall there.
Yeah, huge impact there, and I am really surprised there was not a caution for that. Involved multiple cars on the racing surface, and but we stay green nonetheless. That's gonna completely ruin Steve Potter's night here, just past the halfway mark in this 200 lap event at Dover Motor Speedway for the Victory Field 200. I'm gonna shout out another one of the partners here tonight. Shout out NJB Designs, your one-stop shop for all your iRacing design needs. So if you need a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors, then look no further than NJB Designs. Their staff will work with you to create your vision so you can look like a winner around every virtual corner. And I like to do a double take And think Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles hobby shop with a whole lot more, based out of New York. They have a huge amount of anything nerdy that you're looking for. Thousands of comic books, tons of action figures, collectible trading cards from all sorts, NASCAR diecast even, because they know they support the iRacing side of things and supporting the NASCAR fans. So if you're looking to up your nerd game, head yourself over to DustyPete's.com and use promo code SUPERNERD for 15% off anything over $20 or more.
And obviously, you see these guys coming down the back straightaway here. Now the question's going to be, Jeremy, that I'm wondering is when these guys are going to pit again. We obviously pitted at lap 88. We're coming up to lap 120 this time by coming around. So I want to say you're going to probably see these guys pit around that probably lap 140 mark, I would say. Maybe lap 145, 50 mark, and then you're going to have guys that are going to try to stretch it all the way to the end after that. So green flag pit stops waiting in the wings coming up before you know it.
Yeah, I'm curious of when they come down pit road because they're almost teetering with that mark to where they can maybe do it on one more stop. I'm not too certain. We're 70 laps to go in this event, or sorry, 80 laps to go. And if they could make it 10 more laps, I think they could do it on one more stop, Jason.
Yeah, I just did the math, the calculator math here with Rocky. So I did 88, obviously. The laps that they last pitted on with 60 to 65 laps. So you're looking at roughly around lap 148 to about lap 152 is looking like when these guys are going to have to come into the pits last. And they can obviously make it all the way to the end if that were to be the case. But obviously if there's green-white checkers, that's when you're going to start to have a little bit of a problem. But I don't anticipate a green-white checkered with the racing that we're seeing here tonight. We didn't see one in yesterday's Mach 1 race. Didn't see one in the Cup race on Sunday, so should be interesting.
Math with Rocky, giving out all the numbers where he can. Appreciate you using that calculated work on the fly. You don't get the luxury like Larry McReynolds where he can sit behind the booth, not even on camera, and he can just do it by himself. But appreciate those numbers. It's going to be really close. We'll have to see here in the next 10, 15 laps what it's going to be like. Are they going to be able to make it? Are they not? It'll be fun to watch here. And right now, a little bit back behind, right there on the right-hand side of your screen, you see the 88 getting passed here by the 23. That's Watkins. That's the one with the rear end damage. He's able to get himself back on the lead lap, I think, virtue of the Lucky Dog Award. So he's 17th, now 16th place, and he's slowly passing cars after getting that car repaired, Jason.
Yeah, slowly passing cars, obviously, but still, you know, this race has just been so long and strung out right now. Let's take a look here again at the iRacing iFlag track map here. Ryan Bean's got about a 2-second gap over Richie Coy, but again, everybody is everywhere on this racetrack from turns 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, front stretch, back stretch, all the way around this place. Ryan Bean, though, has done a fantastic job all night long in that number 28 machine. Again, it's going to be really hard to beat him here. Richie Coy a little faster that last lap around, but again, 2 seconds the difference, man. And without those stage breaks for Richie Coy, it's not looking very, very good for him here. So obviously he's got to try to figure something out of how to conserve those tires a little bit more and push towards the end before we hit these green flag stops.
Yeah, Richie's really good the first 20, 30 laps. He's able to close in after the initial warm-up, the first 4 or 5 laps. And then after that, he just kind of plateaus and slowly starts falling back to Ryan Bean, who has such a knack around this track. But the lap times are in the favor of the 19. Technically, these past 10 laps, he went from 2 seconds to 1.8, just really slowly reeling him in. Not enough to get there, of course, but he's found a little something compared to Ryan Bean on this stretch of a run. So whenever they make their pit stops and they get refreshed up for their potential final stint, we'll see what he can do in that 19 to kind of do a little bit better to get closer and closer to the Ryan Bean.
I don't know what this guy's going to do when we have these green flag pit stops. If he's going to try the undercut or what. He gets wicked loose off turn number 4. That's Nate Campbell I'm talking about, obviously. He has climbed up 23 positions from where he started. Currently sitting in P3. He's about 4 3/4 of a second back. It's really interesting to see how well this 45 has been in traffic tonight. Now with this clean air that he kind of has, despite some lap traffic with Jerry Culver in front of him, he isn't the fastest by any means, but he's been running about the same speed as his teammate Ryan Bean. So it's going to be really interesting to see what I think he does. The gap's kind of dwindling now down or up to almost 5 seconds. But if he's going to want to beat this 28 machine, I really do think, Jeremy, he's going to have to try the undercut. And he's obviously got to do it early if he wants to. And he knows how to tire save. But obviously, Ryan Bean said that. He said, this is my favorite track to tire save at. I'm really good at it. I love the combo with it. It's going to be really interesting. I'm interested to see if we're going to have a battle between the two teammates like we have all season.
You're watching the time chart here. Richie Coy is a 10th here, a 10th there. He went, oh, as Ryan Bean hits the wall off turn 4. Not going to help your chances, guy. He gains 2/10 on Richie that lap, but you hit that wall again like that, and you might be having some problems with that 28. But Richie's been slowly reeling in. Ryan Bean here, been watching the laps every single time, and just getting closer and closer. And I've seen some people dropped out. Kent Mueller, 26, he is backed out of tonight's event. Of course, Steve Potter, 94, he did the same thing. So we got 5 or 6 exited cars from tonight's race. At 17 on pit road here on lap 133.
Yeah, he's obviously on pit road, but he is definitely a lap down or more right now. It's just been a really interesting race for the 17 machine. Remember, had that restart where he was pretty much up in that front, then dropped back a ton. So not the run that the 17s wanted by any means tonight.
Anything's trying to salvage where you can. And you talked about undercutting. I don't know how much undercutting you can do with the fuel mileage presented to you right now, but if you're the 45, if you're looking for a chance at victory, then yes, you take that chance. If you are just fine with the top 5, I think you might want to run it out. So, of course, that'll be decided a little bit. I saw another car down pit road. So just every lap, I'm seeing one car here, one car there. That's Michael Sheffield. And the one, he's at his service of his crew now. He's 2 laps down right now.
Yeah, and here comes Nate Campbell. There we go. This is the cut that he really needed to have. But I just don't know if he's going to be able to make it on fuel now that he's doing this. So he's going to have to save a little bit. But how are Ryan Bean, Richie Coy, Nolan Potter, those guys, are they going to answer by coming to pit road this time by and risk it as well? This is going to be interesting here.
It's going to be interesting. I know the tire wear, it's not going to work for the 45 in the long run. If it stays green, Ryan Bean and Richie Coy are going to just completely blow through the 45 at the end of the race. We saw it on Sunday where a 9-second lead dissolved into nothing within like 6 laps or less. So I don't see it working, though. If you can catch a caution at the right time, right after the 19 and 28 pit. Oh, here we go. Speaking of pits, the number 28, Ryan Bean, gives up the race lead to find his virtual crew. Richie Coy is going to lead this lap.
So he answers by coming into the pits this time by. What's Ryan Bean going to be able to do on those fresher tires compared to his teammate Nate Campbell? I think he'll still be pretty good here, but obviously this is a big shakeup. Didn't expect these guys to pit too early. We knew Ryan Bean had to probably make an early call if he wanted to try to run down his teammate. Obviously, here comes Rusty Modesty as well. He's back in 16th. Nathan Campbell just got back on the lead lap, I believe, or is about to. Here, I'm really interested to see, Jeremy, where this is all going to shake up here. This is where Dover can get really, really interesting.
This is classic Richie, too. I've used to seeing him time in and time out be one of the last cars to come down pit road on a non-super speedway race. And so he's going to extend this thing out as much as he can. And we'll see. We'll see. We can do it on one stop. This will be the last green flag pit stop. If it goes green the rest of the way, you see a couple more cars coming down right now. 3 more, Kevin Ruff, Bob Fitzpatrick, Alexander Hodge. These 3 right now. Little Ford gang on pit road this lap.
Yeah, you see Anthony Ludi coming into pit road this time by as well in that number 88 machine. Brian Fine is out and away as well. Justin Hendry as well. Richie Coy still holds the race lead, though. That's the thing I'm wondering here, Jeremy. When are Richie Coy and Nolan Potter going to pit? Here comes the 4 of Brock Potter, the brother, coming into pit road this time by. Richie and Nolan are hurting themselves by staying out this long.
I've seen Richie do this so many times. I'm not going to question it. Last time I did, he taught me why I shouldn't question him. So we're going to find out when he comes down pit road. If you come down 2 or 3 laps after the initial pit stop from the 28 and the 45, then yeah, you put yourself in a bad spot. But if you come down 10, 15 laps later, you can utilize that long run at the end of the race to just do some damage. And so I've seen it plenty of times. We saw it this past Sunday. I kind of brought it up before, and it's just Dover because the tire wear is so strong in a 10-lap run that it can make or break a difference. So he's doing a great thing by not coming down a lap or 2 after. He's going to run up to the very, very end. And it's going to be, ooh, lock up on the brakes from Anthony Younes. That looks like that was a little bit too deep into the pit road entrance.
Yeah, that was a really big lock up there coming to pit road, but he's able to get it down and away. Rusty Modesty, though, still in the pits right now. He must either have a penalty of some sorts or what. That 6 machine still being held on pit road at the time being.
Huge break, or huge issue here from the number 6. Hate to see that. So I think Anthony Younes is going to have the same problem. And he is also being held for that pit road speeding violation, locking him up. 2 drivers with that 40-second hold on this cycle.
Yeah, big heartbreaker. You see Jerry Culver coming in. And from the looks of it, Jeremy, Ryan Bean still able to be out front of Nate Campbell right now. From what it looks like on the racetrack. Richie Coy, Nolan Potter, they're still hanging out there. Zach Schrenthal is now in this time by from the 3rd place position. But obviously, there's Nate Campbell, Ryan Bean. They just went by the 2 machines. So Nate made up a little bit of time, but it wasn't enough. Ryan Bean, I think when this cycles through, Jeremy, is still going to remain the leader.
Yeah, Richie Coy giving up the race lead on pit road. So we'll see where he falls in line after the fact. Right now, Nolan Potter does resume as your race leader. James Catrone, Harold Watkins, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., the only guys not the pit. And I see the 34 on your screen right now. He's going through 3 and 4, not coming down pit road this time as he's dealing with some traffic of his own, being one of the longest running drivers on this green flag stint here.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's just trying to make it a distance, but I don't think it's going to work out for him. He's going to need a caution if he wants to try to keep this lead. I think he will, in fact, stay out as long as he can here. But, again, it's just going to hurt him more and more. And he's been having a great run tonight, too, which is the unfortunate thing. You think about it, he's been up inside the top 5 pretty much all night long, and even just the top 3. So this would be a big, big moment if he could catch that break with a caution, but I just don't see it happening.
Well, he's got to be really close to coming to front. These guys that are left over, we're at lap 150, so we got 50 laps left. Plenty of time to make up some ground at this point if you were to come down pit road. About 20 laps gapping from when the 28 pitted. And look how racy this is. New tires, old tires, everything in between here, causing some major shifting through the front stretch, through the back stretch here, and more in turn 3. Once the fast cars are finally going to break 3 for these guys. That could have been a great time, I think, for Nolan to come down pit road. Having the traffic like that blowing through, you know you have to go to the top side. You're going to have to give up some time to let them pass through. If you would have made that pit stop, maybe you could have saved that time.
Yeah, it definitely could have, but obviously it just doesn't look like it's going to work out for him, no doubt about it. And there's still a few other drivers besides Potter that have stayed out. Watkins, Catrone, Fitzpatrick Sr., they have all stayed out on this racetrack, still continuing to log laps here, just hoping for that caution. But again, Ryan Bean and Nate Campbell, Richie Coy, they are all going to catch them eventually. So if this caution doesn't fall out, the closer they get to them, the sooner they're going to have to pit.
And the laps are 34 actually going to come down pit road this time. Nolan Potter going to give up the race lead. And there's a caution actually for the 5th time tonight.
No!
The Boomer Button Box's caution flag is out, and it looks like it might be that number 12. Not too sure. We'll go back to the Nerd TV replay and take a look, see what happened. And yep, it's going to be this number 12. Oh, wreck happened in front before. Oh, Bob Fitzpatrick's involved. I don't know who was that in front that also came down to hit the inside wall there, but several cars involved in this wreck.
Man, you wanted a caution, but you didn't want to be the one that was getting involved in it, obviously. So, big time heartbreaker for the driver of the number 12 machine. You see Brandon Gagnon's involved as well. So was the two of Zach Strenthal, who was involved in this one. And it just all starts. Oh, weird issue. So the 83 looks like he just got loose, ultimately comes back at the track, stalls up into the 3. And then the 2 obviously just nowhere to go. And here's the thing, Jeremy, this is going to change this race completely.
And absolutely going to change the complexity of this race. A lot of people are going to get caught one lap down. This is a tough spot here for some of these guys who pitted way prior and are one lap down. They're going to have to stay out to get their lap back, but they're going to be on really old tires. This is Dover. I mean, you have tire wear, so this is going to be a struggle. This is going to upset a lot of teams. They're going to shift them back outside of that lead lap, and now we're going to have 2 different races going on our hands. Probably going to see 10 to 12 cars maybe on the lead lap at the green flag, and yeah, this changes everything.
Yeah, this has been made for a really interesting race, and look at this. Richie Coy is going to lead this race. Ryan Bean and Harold Watkins, a lot of these drivers came down and pit.
I think you had to. Remember, he's pitted over 20 laps ago. Like, you need the set of tires here to make the end of this run for the other people who did pit. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer, but at the same time, it's really going to hurt the position on the track. You hate to do it, but you know the tire situation at Dover, and I think you just have to do it. So, yeah, we're going to see who cycles through here, but momentarily, I call for pit stop, regardless if I'm on the track.
Yeah, I mean, I like the call from the 28 machine, obviously, of Ryan Bean and them, but, you know, Richie Coy only has a few lap pressure tires. It's only going to make so much of a difference, but that's the thing, we don't know. So what is it going to do for him here? Same thing could be said for Brock Potter. He pitted about 13 laps prior, but compared to Richie Coy, Richie pitted 6 laps later than Brock did. So this is going to be a really interesting restart here. We know how much clean air has meant all night long. We haven't seen Ryan Bean had to really try to pass anybody. So how is he going to try to get around this 19 and 38? It's going to be the question.
Again, listening to race control in my ear right now, and the interesting thing has come up. The 34, Nolan Potter, you saw him come down pit road right when the caution flag was thrown. They're kind of reviewing it, but he was caught entering a closed pit, technically with the yellow flag. It gave him a 40-second penalty on the 34. So he has scored 15th place 1 lap down because of that penalty. So I don't know if they're trying to reverse the call or if they're just going to let it go. But this is definitely hurting the 34.
Yeah, definitely hurting the 34, no doubt about it. And that's a heartbreaker for the 34 because the caution came out during that closed pit. But it looked like he got on the pit road. So that's what I'm really want to wonder. But at the same time, I mean, iRacing rarely makes bad calls like that. Not usually any issues. So, I mean, if that's the call, it's the call. And unfortunately, it bites the 34 machine here tonight, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I thought he was down pit road for sure. I didn't think twice of it. I was like, okay, he made it. And then there was a caution flag. So he's good. He can find the service of his crew with no fault. But 40-second hold for the 34, and he's going to need a lucky dog. It looks like that last time by on the 1 to go. He is the top person in that 1 lap down category, followed up with Justin Hendry, Alexander Hodge, Brandon Gagnon, Bob Fitzpatrick, and Michael Sheffield. And there's the 34 being held, and that hold right there, you saw the pace truck pass by, is green. I mean, this is the tail end of it, and we're going to try to backtrack. Dustin, I think, has the camera angle back before we go green flag. Green, green, green. It's the yellow cones, which there's no real true marker here. I don't see one on the fence. But I think there's still green flag until about right here from what I saw. And there's the flag. So he definitely made it.
So he was on caught. That's unfortunate right there. He had the I don't know. It's just an interesting deal. But it's not really going to bite him all that bad, but still he's a lap down.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a caution flag real quick or if we're going to remain green. It is out once more here. Richie Coy does take over, like you said. Nathan Campbell with the... Oh, James Catrone makes contact with Ryan Bean in the center of 1 and 2. He's going to check out both of these drivers. And now Richie and 45 need to take advantage of this time here, knowing that the fastest car on the track is a little bit further back now.
Yeah, and that's a big deal for them here because obviously the clean air has meant so much here tonight. I'm interested to see how Nate Campbell is going to try to navigate around Richie Coy, or even if he can get by him. You see Ryan B nearly makes contact with James Catrone, though, off the corner, but has to lay off, so still back there in that 4th position.
And the racing is crazy right now from this initial restart. I saw 3 wide for about 10th place, and comments are being thrown, and there's a lot of cars with a lot of different movement throughout this entire top 10. But this lap looks like it's a little more stable as the tires are getting warmed in. There's one car loose. Bob Fitzpatrick almost loses it in corner exit turn 2. We stay green here. Then James Catrone's going to yield, surprisingly, to the 28 Ryan Bean. He's going to go around.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to just let him go right by. He knows Ryan Bean's fast. Ryan Bean just ran the fastest lap of the race last time around, 22.499. He's about a little over a second back, so he's got time to do it. 40 laps to go this time by, and his teammate Nate Campbell is right on the heels of Richie Coy down the front. He'll make a move to the inside for the race lead.
40 laps to go here in the Victory Fuel 200. Nathan Campbell taking over P1 through turns 1 and 2. Richie thought about maybe doing the crossover, did not get the turn enough to make it happen. Checks up turn 3 and 4. Nathan Campbell's going to take 3 car lengths over the 19 here at the finish line, so 39 laps to go.
Yeah, Nate Campbell. Now, we talked about it. How was his car going to perform once he got out front? He got out front in probably the least dramatic way, or not the least dramatic, but the most dramatic way possible. We didn't expect him to get up to the lead because I don't think we thought there was going to be a caution, but obviously we had one. He's leading this thing now. He is already up 25 spots from where he started, so this is a great run for this 45 here tonight, but he's just got to hang on for a little less than 40 to go. He's got Richie Coy right behind him, but look who's lurking in 3rd. Ryan Bean still setting some fast laps.
The guy with the best middle of the long run portion underneath him tonight. The first time the 45s led the race, right? So you're under attack by Richie Coy, but at the same token, you have to still take care of your stuff. This is still a long run setup if they go green the rest of the way. So if you burn them up too quick, Ryan Bean's going to say bye-bye to both of you guys and take the checker flag. So it's a tough game to play, but you have to be cautious of what you're doing on the track at all times.
Yeah, you definitely got to. And now Ryan Bean is kind of starting to stall out a little bit more. The closer he gets to them, the more that dirty air affects that Toyota Camry XSE. And he's gained a little bit. But again, it's one thing to catch a guy here at Dover. It's another to pass him. We've seen how tough it's been to pass here tonight. This time by the line, 35 laps to go. The leaders are all 1, 2, 3, separated in total by just 0.4 of a second from Campbell back to Bean. And the Stealth Motorsport drivers are showing their strengths here tonight. Richie Coy takes a peek to the inside. Not enough. Ryan Bean sends it down to turn number 3. He's got to run on Richie here off 4.
Richie loves playing the patient game, but right now I think with Ryan Bean on your heels, you have to be a little more aggressive and get around Nathan Campbell if you want to have a chance. The window's open. He looks in. It gets closed off before the center to exit of turn 2. And they're going to have to try to line it up once more. Ryan Bean breathing down the neck of Richie Coy here. Letting going.
Yeah, and this time by, you see Ryan Bean. He is right on the heels of Richie Coy, and Richie's got to be huffing and puffing like he always does. It's so tight right now because he's so close to the 45, but the 28's so close to his rear bumper. One mistake, and it's all over for the 19 machine. They head back into turn number 3. This time, Bean will try the outside group. He'll try that diamond effect, dive it back down to the corner. He's actually going to get a really good run off the corner. We'll see what he does with it. He almost hooks the 19 off 4.
19 looked like he was going to give just enough space to the top. Does not do so. They still remain single file here on lap 169, so 32 laps to go in this race. Now Ryan Bean moving up really high up in the center, 3 and 4 with the huge diamond effect. Does he go to the bottom? He does. He's going to look to the inside. Richie's not going to protect. I thought maybe he had the space, but he's going to give up the inside here momentarily to Ryan Bean. Back straight away, nose to nose. The advantage going to Richie on this corner and gets the position. Still keeps P2.
30 to go this time by here from the Monster Mile, the 28 of Ryan Bean. Oh, he's going to hit the wall off the corner, and that's actually heavy damage to the right front fender of that 28 machine. You could see it all right there, the scrapes and scuffs. I wonder if that will probably hurt him enough to not win him the race, and this was a race that could have been won by Ryan Bean. But again, still 30 laps to go, 29 this time by. Ryan Bean still setting some of the fastest laps on the racetrack right now. But he's got to get around that 19 if he wants to run down his teammate Nate Campbell, who's only back in the points from him by just 1 point.
I have to do a rare late shout out here, but I see Lori Smith. This is the first time I've seen you in the chats here saying, Jared, Dustin's mom, you're doing a good job of calling. Keep up the good work. Well, if it wasn't for the amazing production work by Dustin and then Jason having the actual voice for this, I wouldn't be doing as well. So appreciate everyone doing a fantastic job. And thank you for the comment, by the way. But back to this racing action here, just really good stuff. Coming down to the end of the race, we weren't sure what we were going to get, but we're getting 3 of the best right now, nose to tail here for 40 laps straight as Brandon Gagnon gives way here on the front straightaway. This is an excellent race to the finish here.
Yeah, this is just pretty much balls to the wall action here at Dover, and you got to stay like this here. Shout out to James Catrone, though. He's still hanging out in that 4th place. We talked about him being kind of a sleeper pick. He's sitting back there in 4th, and look at who is in 5th. The guy who got rear-ended from Jeff Chandler trying to come into the pits pretty late. Got ran to the back of. He's sitting there in 5th. That's Harold Watkins, but still great battle going up here at the front. But you're seeing Ryan Bean starting to fade away just a little bit, but so is Richie Coy. But Nate Campbell's still in arm's length distance.
Yeah, rare move there by Ryan Bean to look to the inside and give it up before getting to the turn 1. Oh, Richie Coy really tight. And just like that, one driver mistake error, and it's going to be a flip-flop for position. Richie Coy's going to fall back to P3. Ryan Bean now 2nd. And Richie's got to know that my car being tight every single mid to long run so far, this is going to be all but it for inside that top 2 for the 19.
Race is on now for the win here. Nate Campbell and Ryan Bean, we talked about it, Jeremy. I mentioned it beforehand. What was going to happen if these two got up and were 1-2, especially if Nate Campbell was going to have this lead. We know how aggressive Ryan Bean can be, but these two race each other with a respect, but they also race the hell out of one another as teammates. They want to put on a good show, a good finish, but they also want to make sure a Stealth Motorsports driver ends up in victory lane by the end of the night. This time by at the line, 23 laps remaining here at Dover. That time by Campbell with a 3.24, Bean with a 3.62, so off by about 0.04 of a second last time around. But we've seen Ryan Bean really show up on these long runs here. What's going to happen in these next 22.5 laps?
Well, Ryan Bean keeps bouncing off the wall like he did last time, turn 4. He's not going to be here at the finish of this race, and he's going to smack it again here on corner exit 2 times in a row on turn 4 exit. Ryan Bean thankfully has that carbon composite body on the outside to keep his car looking okay, but you can't keep doing that. You're playing with fire, but he's trying everything he can because his teammate Nathan Campbell is on a mission here to get this checker flag.
Yeah, 21 to go here this time by. You can just see Ryan Bean. He is driving the hell out of that race car right now, slipping, sliding off turn number 4. That time by, he was slower than his teammate Nate Campbell by over 0.2 of a second. And Richie Coy was also 0.2 of a second off the race leader. So Nate Campbell in a really good position here, Jeremy. So he gets out to a 0.6 of a second gap, trying to close one out here at the Monster Mile with 20 to go this time.
Ryan Bean once more hitting this wall in turn number 4. He is leaving it out there completely. And this is really just tightening up the 28. And the more he does this, the more that car is going to get tighter and tighter. And Richie Coy is going to find a way to get back around Ryan Bean. But so far, let's see if he hits it this time here. He does not this time. So on average right now, Ryan's finding that wall 2 times to 1. And somehow, Jason, I don't know how, but he's keeping up with Nathan Campbell just a little bit as he tries to thin out the car even more there in the entrance of turn 3. But yeah, that right side is taking a beating right now.
Yeah, last time he was actually faster. Oh, that was heavy contact, and you see that right front fender. It kind of pushed in that time by. I want to say, Jeremy, I think Ryan Bean's race is over after that hit. Dustin, let's bring it around real quick to that right front fender, man. That thing's got to be pushed in.
on that 28 machine. Hard contact, and it is just a little bit past that left side wheel well. It's pushed in a little bit, but oh my goodness, such a heartbreaker for that 28 machine. Well, I still am interested to see, though, what he can do here these next handful of laps. We've seen him do really good in the long runs, but Richie Coy, though, has hunted him back down for the second spot here.
Yeah, the race for the win is over. It's now for second and third place. Either way, both these drivers are going to get podium unless they wreck each other. Hopefully it does not happen. But, the 28 gets a little checked up. Richie Coy tried looking at the inside. Did not lift in time. Had to back it down severely. Does not make the pass effort through turn 1 and 2 this time around. But he is there. He is real close to making a move. And watch him. Maybe this time in turn 4 exit, he's going to get it.
Yeah, he might be able to get him right here with how tight Ryan Bean is off turn number 4 there. You saw him get tight again. Then he gets loose on corner exit trying to save the car. Richie's able to get down to the bottom and pin it down there a little bit better. He drifts up a little bit that time because of the aero block that you saw the 28 have. Yes, he didn't mean to block him, but that air from the dirty air caused from that 28 punching that hole through that air onto the 19 machine makes that thing get really, really tight through the center and off corner. Richie's starting to fade away a little bit now from the 28, though, but Nate Campbell is driven away by almost a second and a half.
Richie looks slightly loose even there on turn 4 exit. That was kind of weird. He had a checkup for that. Had a shallow exit and lost a whole car length to the 28. And looking at that 45 here, 13 to go out the line. And has a 1.5 second advantage over second place, Ryan Bean. And 45 is just setting sail. We're getting some lap traffic, though, that may or may not play any factor in this race. But right now the battle is still on with 19 and 28.
Yeah, good battle going on for second here. Nate Campbell, though, is just driven away. They're going to have a caution if they want any shot remotely at this 45 machine. But if a late race caution were to come out, that presents the option. If you're up into this top 11, do you pit or do you stay out? I think it's a really bad move if you do stay out, considering there's only 11 cars on the lead lap. But I mean, if you have maybe 1 or 2 guys pit, it's going to look really interesting because I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I think it's stupid to not pit, but at the same time, you also can stay out. But I feel like if you do pit, even with a late race restart here, with only 11 cars on the lead lap, it could very well make it for an interesting finish.
It could, right, for sure. And let's see what Richie can do to make it as most entertaining for us as possible and for everyone watching right now on the YouTube and Facebook side. These two are still neck and neck. Oh, the 19's going to look to the inside. Finally, does not get the exit he wanted. Though is going to go back single file once more as we are now 10 laps to go.
10 laps to go, and Richie Coy is still trying to hunt down this 28 machine. We talked about how it's one thing to catch a guy, it's another to pass him, and you can just see how tough it is for the 19 of Coy with that right front severely worn out with the older tires compared to Ryan Bean, that he is struggling to get around him. Even though Ryan Bean has burnt up that right front tire, he's got a little bit of damage, though. Still, these two cars neck and neck pretty much. Richie gets really close to that left rear of Ryan Bean, nearly sent him up the racetrack, but laid off, though. Some great hard racing here with 9 to go.
Richie is just pushing it as close as he can, maybe trying to get Ryan Bean to make a mistake in center of corner, or maybe hit the outside wall once more on corner exit. Still remains single file with him as they're going to approach now Jerry Culver in the 13 and also the 12 as well. Couple cars quickly going to pass him on the inside, it looks like, but it's going to take a couple laps of effort from Richie Coy. He's going to have to regroup with about 5 to go and get back. Caution's out at the same time these guys hit the wall. And just like that, Jason, we're going to change this thing all up again.
Wow, we called it. We said there was the possibility of a late race yellow happening, and let's see what happened. Brandon Gagnon, tough night for the driver of the 83, just gets really, really loose out of turn number 2, tries to save it, ultimately does not, and the car just shoots back to the right with that rack and pinion steering that's just so hard to save this car, locks it up, gets sideways again, and finally the car decides and elects to come around. Great job by, I believe, that was Justin Hendry who got by him. Great job by Justin to get by him. Same can be said for Brock Potter in the number 4 machine. But Jeremy, this is going to change everything right here.
100%. Nathan Campbell has got to be punching the steering wheel, praising, or not praising, but the lack of praising to the simulation racing lords and going, why do we need this caution? I had this in the bag. It was mine. And now he's got to fight for it once more.
Oh my gosh. Richie Coy and everybody else behind them is coming down pit road. Nate Campbell and Ryan Bean have elected to stay out. And so does Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., Justin Hendry, Alexander Hodge, and Michael Sheffield all elect to stay out.
Good night, 45 and 28. That's all I got to say there. There's way too many laps. Even on 2 laps or 3 laps, whatever the shootout's going to be, it's not going to be enough. It's just, that's crazy. You're going to see a lot of the wave arounds. Well, not really wave arounds. They got a bunch of guys that are behind them, but since they stayed out, I think they're going to be falling back to the tail end, I would imagine, and it's going to bring Richie Coy all them 3rd, 4th, 5th. So, yeah, that's an interesting call. You know, that's teamwork. Obviously, the teamwork is going to be showing for 1st and 2nd place, but man, oh man, what a crazy call here.
I'm amazed by what has happened here. Obviously, I was really interested to see if anybody was going to pit. I did not think the leaders were going to stay out and then everybody behind them was going to pit, but that happened. The thing that I thought was not going to happen happened, and now we have a race. You're realistically going to restart this race, Jeremy, I want to say with probably what, maybe 3 laps to go. You know, it's going to be interesting because Richie Coy is going to be on the bottom here in row 2 for the restart. How are the 45 and the 28 going to restart? Can they hold them off? We saw older tires, how well it didn't work for the 17 and the 24 earlier in this race, or rather the 26 of Kent Mueller. So I think they're sitting ducks just like you.
Yeah, there is no way, unless there's a caution that comes out right after that or something happens to the 19, 23 and everybody else behind them. If it stays clean, the 45 and 28 are going to the back. They're going to be UPS Express shipped to the back here, and everybody else is going to pass them. That's just way too many laps on these set of tires, to me personally. And quick shout out to one of the partners here at RSR. Kind of fitting. If you're the 28 and the 45 when this race is over and you don't have the checker flag in your hand, you're going to want some Space Panda. Relax and unwind with Space Panda's world-class Delta 8 and 9 products made in the USA and completely GMO-free. Space Panda delivers top-quality products with amazing results and effects. Experience ultimate relaxation with a stressful day with Space Panda. Visit them at spacepandadelta.com. RSR for 10% off.
All right, Jeremy. 1 to go till green. This is going to be interesting here. And look who's on the outside in row number 2 for this restart. Harold Watkins, who received that damage from Jeff Chandler earlier on. He is all the way back up to 4th now in that Wingstop Toyota Camry. This is going to be an interesting restart. I think Richie Coy is going to have the advantage here, being the guy who's been out front. Don't count out this 23 of Watkins, though. He is a stealth motorsport driver. They're going to race him a little bit differently than the 19 of Richie Coy. And mind the fact, with those fresher tires, and he's going to have the opportunity to go to the outside, Richie Coy is not going to have anywhere to go but the bottom side. If he wants to get this lead and not have to battle with Harold Watkins, he's going to have to make a move early.
All right, this is it. What's going to happen to the 28-45? Do they pull off a miracle here and keep 1st and 2nd? Or is Richie and everybody else behind them going to take over? This should be fun. Watch the tire spin for the 28-45. That's going to be huge as well. Green flag is out. Ryan Bean does have the tire spin there. It's going to check up the inside lane. Richie's going to move up early before the finish line. And I hear you saying, oh, that might be a rule in the rule book to shift lanes prior. But here we go. 23 on the attack now. Richie Coy gets around. Contact here as we're coming up to the white flag.
White flag coming out. Look at Nate Campbell. He has got that run on the inside, but here comes Harold Watkins to the outside. Nearly slaps the wall off the corner. He's going to use the 45 as a pick. Richie Coy's going to have to go to the outside. He's digging up on the top side for the final time out of 2.
Man, oh man, will this be something if Harold Watkins can hold off for 2 more corners and secure the win after getting that big damage early on from the 31. Final time through 3 and 4, and the 23 of Harold Watkins is going to pick up his first checker flag of the 2024 A season.
Steals one. Absolutely steals one from everybody here. Who would have thought Harold Watkins was going to win this race with the performance he was having earlier, with getting ran into the back of by Jeff Chandler? He nearly wrecked himself and his teammate off 2 on the restart. What a job by Harold Watkins, the 3rd different Stealth Motorsport driver to win in 2024.
Man, yeah, Ryan Bean, massive tire spin there on the inside lane. Richie and everybody else kind of reacted, shifts up to the top. And then the 28 gets put 3 wide as he just falls back further and further. Nathan Campbell did an okay job. I thought he was going to fall back further than 5th. He's able to hold on to that top 5 spot. But obviously the call was to pit. There's just way too much tire wear here at Dover to even try to do the green-white checkered. That proves it definitely as Harold just continues to run laps around here. Maybe he just wants to have a little bit more fun. But let's see if he hits the wall first, and then second we'll go to the unofficial results. Gotta make sure you don't hit the wall or I call you out on it. That's the rules.
Denny Hamlin.
And basically, yeah, very similar setup. And that's it. All right. So with that being said, oh wait, oh there we go. So the unofficial results here for tonight's Victory Fuel 200: Harold Watkins P1, Richie Coy 2nd, James Catrone is your top 3, Kevin Ruth 4th, Nathan Campbell 5th, Brock Potter 6th, Brian Fine in 7th, Ryan Bean 8th, Tony Ludi 9th, and Kevin Zabadell rounds out the top 10.
Top 20, you'll find Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. with a great rebound. Despite that wreck that happened earlier on, he'll finish as the last car on the lead lap. Alexander Hodge, P12. You'll find Michael Sheffield, Nolan Potter, Hendry Yuns, Modesty, Brandon Gagnon in 18th. Jerry Culver and Mark Thibodeau, who we didn't really talk about all night, he'll come home with a top 20 position, 10 laps down.
21st on back, Andrew Little, 21st, 22nd, Bob Fitzpatrick, 23rd, Zach Strenthal, 24th, Michael Carter, 25th place will be Kent Mueller, 26th, Steve Potter, 27th, John Velocity, 28th, Zach Wilson, 29th, Jeff Chandler, and James Fitzmaurice does not start tonight's event, but did run practice, so he gets logged for 30th place finish. We're going to go to full screen commercial, wait for the top 3, and we'll be right back. And welcome to the Martin Sports Post Race Show, where we've got our top 3 gathered up this evening. And back-to-back races, we're going to have a driver from Zab Motorsports come onto the podium. P3, James Catrone, welcome to 3rd place.
Hey,
What's going on, man? That car up and down day a little bit for you, and at the end of the day, you get your second top 5 here this evening. So just kind of walk us through your race and how'd you make it top 3?
well, yeah, I I think I actually had a lap going on my second lap of qualifying that would have put me on the pole, but I brushed the wall barely and got a 0x out of 4, so it didn't count the lap, so it put me to like 18th or 19th. So when that happened, I figured I'd just top off on that first caution and kind of ride there, and I seemed to have some of the better long run speed in the field then. I ended up driving up, I think, to like 14th, so I felt pretty good about it. And then mid race, all of a sudden, I think other people figured it out, or the track changed, and I didn't have a good long run car anymore. And yeah, so I was just happy to be up front and tried to play it the best I could to be on a different strategy. And sure enough, it worked out. I was actually just calling out and slowing down to pit in when that caution came out, and that really was the break to get out front. But I tell you what, when I got out front, I didn't know what to do because the car just handled totally different with being in the top 3 with that clean air. It was definitely a learning curve and not something I wanted to do at the end of the race, but it worked out, and I was just going to be happy with a top 10. So glad to finally start finishing up front again. I've had new equipment, so it's been kind of a learning curve, and I've been really slow the past few weeks, it seems. So nice to be back better where I belong, I think. So.
Yeah, James, and good job on finishing P3 tonight, man. Pretty much an uneventful Dover race, besides some late race drama, obviously. And you started a little bit further, and probably I want to say the mid pack of the field here tonight. And Dover is such a driver's racetrack. I mean, what is your take usually on the Monster Mile? Because I know when it comes to drivers with this racetrack, it's either you love it or you hate it. But man, you were just consistently moving up forward and forward and forward, just like Nate Campbell did, and a few other drivers here tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hit or miss with this new car since it's come out. I loved it, and it used to be with the old car, even in RSR, I wouldn't run good at all in a mile and a half. In the short tracks, I kind of showed up finally. And now with this new car, it's kind of switched. So everything mile and less, I'm still struggling to figure out. I don't think I really like it yet. This definitely helps, but it's a learning curve with this new car. It doesn't drive the same at all on this track, and it's been really hard for me to figure out. This is probably the best I've run on this with this new car.
I imagine we're going to have this car for a next long while, too. So just keep inching there, getting a little bit better and better and better, and maybe we'll see you in the podium a little bit more. But congrats to you for getting P3 tonight, and your team getting back-to-back podiums late in the going in the season. So that being said, man, floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go.
Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and thank my wife for putting my boys to bed so I could come in here and race. So.
There we go. Excellent shout outs there, man. Have a good rest of your night. We'll catch you next week.
Yep. See ya.
Yep. That was James Catrone there in the 38. Now it's time to bring in a Nerdy Sports driver, Richie Coy here, the number 19. Welcome to P2, man. Congratulations on the strong finish.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, man. How's it going? You had a really good 10 to 25 lap car. Then you kind of plateaued there with Ryan being in the first half. And then you found something in the second half where you kind of inched a little closer and closer. And then the caution changed up everything. And then just kind of walk us through the back half of your race. And what did you do different to kind of outdo the pace of the 28 there on the long run?
Honestly, I really overdrove the car in the first stint, which really kind of killed my tires. So I backed off a lot in the second stage, was rolling in the corners a little bit more, trying to just save those tires. And it really helped. And right at the end, right when Dean was pitting, I think I was starting to really reel him in. I think I caught him by maybe 3/4 of a second, and I stayed out. And I pitted, and when I pitted, I only took 2 tires. I wanted to offset the fact that he pitted before I did, and it seemed like it was going to work until the caution came out after about 6 laps, and then they pitted again, and I didn't, and I was able to hold on to them, but they were getting me towards the end, and then that yellow came out at the end, and I'm like, all right, I got a set of tires in the pits. We're going to get it done, and then my lane didn't. My lane really didn't go in the restart, and it kind of is what it is. We got second. We'll take it.
Yeah, good run tonight, Richie. I know obviously you got that one in the Mach 1 Cup Series last night here, and you were so close again. And you just mentioned basically and kind of led into what I was going to ask there, obviously. If that restart wouldn't have been caused with that tire spin with the 28 of Ryan Bean, would you have tried to move to the inside and make it 3 wide right there, man? Because in my opinion, that was going to be your best shot.
We were going to have to see what was going to happen. I don't honestly know. That's a race. That's a race decision at that particular point. It really depended on what happened on the outside, if it was going to be room on the bottom without wrecking everybody. So it kind of is what it is. After the last couple of weeks of getting wrecked out and finishing lower than 20th, I'm tickled to death with my my P2 tonight. I would have liked to have won. I thought I had a good shot at it, but it was a pick. It was the pick of the whatchamacallit, of the lane there. So it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The strong run, regardless. There, if there wasn't tire spin, you would have maybe been one spot higher. But continue getting there. I know the fixed setups are a little bit more the challenging for you, but you're getting better. So we'll see you up here more often. But floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the league for having us come in. Appreciate the league for putting us all this stuff on. Appreciate my teammates for during the race. Thank you to Victory Fuel for being on board, Martin Sports for being on board, Nerd Motorsports for being on board with Nerd Tudes. Can't thank all you guys enough. And yeah, so I think that's it. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, man. We will catch you next Tuesday.
All right.
Have a good night. That was number 19, Richie Coy, P2 tonight. And now it's going to bring in our first time winner here, the number 23, Harold Watkins. Congratulations on bringing home the checkered flag tonight.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Pit strategy course of the final restart was the way to go. You hadn't been talking to your teammates. So what was the decision between you pitting and them not?
Well, I don't know if you saw early in the race when the first pit cycle came around, but the radio was clogged and I got rear-ended. So I was on a whole different strategy altogether. I was a couple laps down and had to work my way back through cautions and everything, and kind of just got lucky. And then my only strategy at that point was to run it out, I felt like, and hope for track position because I was a little bit slow. I had like 2 minutes and 10 seconds of damage that I got down to like 20 seconds, but I was like a tenth and a half off when we were trying to really push it. So I just felt my only strategy was to save a set, go as long as possible. Caution came out. That was really my only shot at being up front, and it worked out, thankfully.
Yeah, and Harold, good job, man, on the win tonight. Beautiful paint scheme with Wingstop on the car here tonight, man. Probably one of my favorite schemes I've seen all year long. Take us
Thank you.
through that final restart there, man, because we know at Dover, it's really honestly all about how you get through that restart zone. And it's a really awkward restart zone because you have the bottom that's kind of at an angle. Same thing with the top side, and you're going over that hill and then starting to go downhill from that bottom on the hump, and it gets really awkward on those restarts, and it depends on who's in what lane, what kind of throttle pressure they apply. What was it like going through that restart there with how the bottom lane just didn't go?
I mean, first of all, I had the benefit of having Ryan on the inside and Nate on the outside leading that front row. So that definitely helps. I think the advantage definitely was to be in fourth in that position as well. Like you said, that's the bottom can be a little bit iffy on restarts. And Nate's never going to lay down and let anyone win. So, I mean, I knew he was going to try to fight, but as soon as I had him, I mean, he knew and he let me go, thankfully. And from there, it was pretty smooth. And I was just like kind of shaking going into turn 3, like, don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. You've worked all the way back here tonight. And I mean, just the luck of the draw being in fourth. I think I saw a similar thing happen last night in Richie's other league, just peeking in. And so I kind of knew the outside was the advantage, and Nate taking the outside as the leader just doubled that advantage there.
Yeah, and everything played to your favor to get almost all the damage repaired in that 23. And just one quick follow-up question. How was the car after the initial contact between you and the 31 early on that pit entrance? I know you were off pace, but like, was it really, really slow, or was it just a little bit here and there that needed to be worked on?
Oh, I was really slow. But the thing is I didn't burn tire then because I caught a bunch of people after that first kind of medium run. So that was the good thing. I almost spun it the first time going into one because the rear end was so messed up. So I had to adjust my driving style too. So really, it was just lucky that a couple cautions came out that I could go in and fix most of that damage.
Well, it's excellent that they're able to do that and get your car fast enough to contend and then ultimately win tonight's Victor Field 200. But man, floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go.
First and foremost, thanks to my teammates. They're always helping us all out, getting better, practicing every week, giving tips, tricks. Thanks to you guys up in the booth. You guys always do a great job. It's always fun to watch it back. Thanks to Sheffield and Ludi for putting on a great league. And I was asked to give a shout out to Matt Hayden. Thank you for missing this race so I could win, being at your kid's soccer game.
Well, there you go. Little thank you underneath the table there for him. But all right, man. Yeah, well, congrats once more. You got the checker flag finally, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was Harold Watkins in the 23. And what a fun race, Jason. What a very fun race.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. I don't really think, Jeremy, we anticipated that late race caution. But again, you got guys on different strategies, the lap cars. I can't tell you how many times we've seen races at Dover come down to a late race restart where something like this has happened, where there's guys that are in the back, you have slower cars that are getting up into the wall, somebody will spin out on the sim especially. Not so much in the real world, but on the sim. So it was a really interesting race tonight. Harold Watkins, third different Stealth Motorsport driver to get to victory lane, obviously, so far this season. That makes us have 4 now different winners out of the first 9 races this season. So it was a really, really exciting race. You got to feel for Ryan Bean, man. This was pretty much his race to win, and it slipped right from his fingers. And I know he's going to be really, really hurt after this one for it, but I'm sure just like he always does, man, he's Ryan effing Bean. He'll come back next week and he'll try to put it together and he'll go out there and win probably.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a little point deficit now from the 45 his teammate Nathan Campbell to make up. So we'll see what they can do next week. But appreciate everyone. We're gonna leave off with a little video. Thanks to our sponsors one last time. You guys, till then, stay safe. We'll see you this coming Sunday for the Global Racing Truck Series. Get your nerd on.
This presentation is brought to you in part by
Martin Sports. Get the apparel, look stylish, be badass with apparel from Martin Sports. martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag. Must-have flag marshaling system for any aspiring sim racer. Get yours today at iracingiflag.com. Boomer button boxes. Total sim control at your fingertips. boomerbuttonboxes.com. If you race hard, then you need to rock hard.
And no station gets you harder than
iRock935.com. If you're a collector and that's your game, then Dusty Pete's, that's the name. DustyPete's.com. TWRS. Got the rig? Got the sim? Now get the speed with setups from TeamWatsonRacing.com.
Back when nothing truly